Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. I read all of the comments. And now, let's get on with the show. When last we left our intrepid adventurers, we're in the port town of Silvia's Rest, where von Scala has invited her friend, von Australia, over to her house. They're going to read a letter their friend Madrigar left them. They open the letter and read how Madrigar confesses that he was working with the Dark Queen, Durysaya. However, he says in his letter that he was just doing it so he could get the weapon close to her. He says that he has temporarily changed the weapon to a sonic device in order to destroy the jewels in her forehead that gave her power. He continues on to say that Durysaya is actually 3 powers in one shell. She has the Star Mage power, she has her own magical ability, and she has power from the god Snargasi, who she says is her father. He says that if he can destroy one of the 3, it will be worth his life. The two friends console each other and then discuss late into the night who they need to tell this information to. Australia and Scala say their goodnights, and Scala goes upstairs to bed. As she's getting ready, she muses on the fact that she seems to go to bed alone way too often, and she aches for another person in her life, and maybe in her bed. She slips between the covers and says a quick prayer to the Lady Chalisea, and then closes her eyes. In the middle of the night, she wakes up. There's a sound. At first, she thinks it might be Australia. Maybe she forgot something and came back for it. But then she hears it louder in the hallway. She gets up and conjures a ball of light so that she can see, but she sees nothing. After searching the house and still finding nothing, she places wards on all the doors and windows and then goes back to bed. Much later, Scala wakes up and there's a gale force wind in her room, and it's blowing things everywhere, and she looks and she sees at the foot of her bed some kind of ring made out of smoke. A man-like creature is standing in the lines of force. The creature says it is Mirska, and it has come to take her to the storm that is in the eye of the ring Tara Real. She will be a storm walker, and the creature begins to shuffle out towards her. She can tell that there are other creatures behind it, creatures much more terrifying. Meanwhile, in Mountain Vale, Brock and Durysaya are making their way through the woods when they are ambushed by the elf Garu. He holds the woman at bay and commands Brock to come over where he is so he can be safe. Brock tells Garu that he isn't in any danger. Durysaya croons that Garu should come with them and see the fate of those who do not keep their word. Garu feels her honeyed words play with his emotions. He is intrigued, but not bespelled. As they walk through the forest, Durysaya reveals herself to be a succubus, and she was given over by a contract to follow a human's demands. This was a payment for association with Northern Desiderata. Garu demands to know who was the person. Durysaya laughs and tells him he really already knows that, doesn't he? It was Alexander's son, Klep. It's the elf's turn to laugh. He says, how can he do any of this? Durysaya shrugs and says, evil has no age limit. The boy was already acquainted with evil and was making pacts with creatures like herself, also with Dystaria, the queen of Desiderata. Durysaya says that she was summoned by the boy for a time, but he would not let her go back to the infernal realms. He used holy wards to keep her down in the dungeon. They come to a small graveyard, recently made to look new. In the center of the graveyard is a mausoleum. That's where we're going, says Durysaya. The succubus says that they must hurry. Garu shakes his head. They have no reason to help her. She says that Klep hovers between life and death, and if he should stay in this plane, he will become a strong ally of the Chicanus Dystaria. He has already helped open many of the gates in the blister, and if he does not die fully, then the gates will all blow open, and whatever's on the other side could come through. They agree to help her. Durysaya says that she needs to be carried through the graveyard and deposited in the center of the House of the Dead. Garu looks at Brock, and Brock offers to carry her.